25 for me in education. I'm from the United States, but I've worked in Bermuda, which is a very, very small island, 600 miles from anywhere in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And you may know it mostly from the Bermuda Triangle, but it's the northern tip of the triangle. So that's one way you can remember where it's at. I'm currently in China. This is my 11th year in the past 25 years of overseas in education. And I also worked for 5 years in South Korea. And my master's degree is actually in what we call technological studies. If I say to you, what does universal design for learning mean, or UDL? Even if you've never heard it before, which is perfectly normal. But by reading those words, what do you think that means? And so on this slide is an opportunity for you to interact with me. There are places where you can put comments. And so I would like for you to comment on the slide.
Jason, there are some reflections in the chat as well, Zoom chat.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, you can
Great.
just go through that as well.
Okay. I'll work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So the guidelines are broken down into 3 parts. Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the progression through those in a moment, but you need to remember that the highest level, which I'll point out to you in a moment, they're called principles. So these are the things, these are the domains that we want to focus on. There are 3 main principles, which I'll share with you in just a moment. Underneath the principles are some guidelines or guiding statements. And then from there, you have what we call checkpoints. And traditionally, these checkpoints would be things that we might think of as standards indicators or as strands within a rubric. So think of the principles as a much larger umbrella, and then the guidelines would be the larger sort of standard or benchmark. And then you would have your indicators, which we call checkpoints. These are the 3 big principles that I mentioned before, that we start with principles and then we work our way down. The 3 principles of UDL are this: engagement, representation, and action and expression. And again, this is brain-based research. And as you can see, they've actually gone in and colored the part of the brain that they're trying to access with this particular principle. Enough of that. Let's get into the fun part where we're starting to explore and experience this for ourselves. So I've gone and labeled these so you would know what we're talking about. So as I mentioned here, there's the engagement level. Engagement is the principle. The guidelines are here. So we've got recruiting ideas, sustaining effort and persistence, and self-regulation. And then the checkpoints. And I've color-coded them so that you can see where they fall. Okay, so recruiting interest has got these 3 different strands or checkpoints. Sustaining effort and persistence, it's got these 4 checkpoints. And then self-regulation have these 3.